Today I'm in the heart of Sussex in the UK, where I'm going to meet James from CutMyPlastic. They are all about plastic and the way that they cut it with some fabulous CNC machines. If you've ever had a kitchen backsplash probably made out of glass, well, you can actually get them made out of plastic as well. And not only that, they do much more. So follow me whilst we go and see the unit. We are here. Yep. You can see all the plastics. So James, thank you very much for inviting me to your, what would you call this, workshop?
Yeah, workshop, warehouse, unit.
Yeah.
Multi-purpose.
You've taken me around, you've shown me the CNC machines, how things work. I mean, I must say, it's pretty efficient.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we work very hard to automate processes and try and be as efficient as we can with it.
So just give me a bit of background about the company. Anyway, when did it start?
So we've been going about 2 years, but we've really expanded in the last 12 months, and we've invested in new machinery, larger premises, which we've kind of outgrown already, and yeah, we're just really growing the business.
Time to move to somewhere a bit bigger then.
Yeah, I think within hopefully the same estate, but try and get a double unit, and it means we can buy more machines and bring in additional processes and products.
And how big are your team that you got here?
It's about 7 of us here now, I think. So, okay. 7 running the machines and doing the packing.
James, I mean, I'm aware of how much that you do here in terms of plastic, but I didn't think that plastic is used in a home as much as it is. But you've got so many ways that you can use plastic in home or greenhouses and stuff like that. I've seen on your website.
Yeah.
So when did it become, in your opinion, when did it become the preferred product of choice?
I think it's growing as the quality of the materials is better and consistent, and the ways we can work with them just opens up other markets. You just suddenly, you turn into a plastic geek and you start looking around the home and you say, we could do that and we could change this. So we've done everything from putting a guard around a radiator so the customer's toddler didn't burn themselves on it, and up to replacing greenhouse windows and splashbacks and kick plates, and then people also use it for kind of modelling projects, and obviously there's a whole display industry as well commercially. So.
But with other choices on the market like glass and stuff like that, why do you think people opt to go with plastic?
I think if you're talking about specifically kind of splashbacks, the acrylic is a much more cost-effective material. Yeah. So it's about 1/3 of the price of glass. Mm-hmm. It's a lighter material as well. And I think a lot of the time with splashbacks is actually a DIYer or kitchen fitter can cut and work with acrylic, whereas glass has to all be cut to size in a factory and brought to site. So what you often find is you can speed up the process of finishing your kitchen by using acrylic.
And would you say that it's because also you can't damage it as much as you can, or the risk is less? Yeah,
I mean, I think obviously glass generally you would have fitted by an installation team, and obviously they take the risk of breaking the glass. It's not normally something a homeowner would do themselves.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah. So although we are starting to move a little bit to that, but I think the acrylic is a lot more forgiving. Yeah. So if you know the rough dimensions of what you need, you can order it oversized and your kitchen fitter can actually cut it on site. So a lot of the time if you're doing glass, you have to finish your kitchen, you have to get the glass company out to then template it, they have to go away and manufacture it and then set you an installation date.
Toughened and everything else.
So you could be a couple of weeks from having a finished kitchen to then installing a splashback. Whereas with an acrylic product you can understand your finished date of the kitchen and then have the acrylic there beforehand, and let your kitchen fitter who's already on site fit the acrylic splashback for you. So it's a way of finishing jobs quicker.
Yeah, it is. So what's your typical day at work, would you say, for yourself?
It's busy. It's very busy. So in the morning we come in and we start to warm the machines up, And then we've heavily automated our order management system, so we know what orders we've got. We're able to group them into types of materials, and we start to toolpath them and nest them for the CNC. We then start to look at the printing jobs as well, which is how we make the splashbacks. And yeah, we just start running them and getting them printed and working away through the process, and then ultimately they get wrapped and dispatched.
Is there ever been a day when it's just been completely hectic? Maybe you've got a large order that's come in or something.
Yeah, we do. A commercial job springs to mind where I can't remember how many meters, but it was a lot of splashbacks to use in their toilets. It was a tea room, so we had like pink and blue teapots and all these designs, and yeah, that was about 2 days solid printing on that job just to get that done. So yeah, it gets really busy, and then obviously we still try, and if people want last minute rush orders, we try and fit them in for them and meet the carriers. So
on the back of that, do you ever get to a position where you've seen it on the computer, and before you start making it, and wondering what is it?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we get some bizarre ones, and you think, well, how are they going to use this? Yeah. We look at some of the orders and look at it and go, that's just designed to break. So if people have made them particularly thin in certain areas, so we quite often will ring the client and make sure they've got it right. Also, if something just doesn't look right, we kind of do a sanity check and ring them up and say, you sure that's how you want it? And sometimes it is, but sometimes, it may have just been either an input error or a design error. So we do try and sanity check them. But
what's the most popular sector that you work with every day?
I think for us at the moment, it really is kind of domestic. So certainly for the splashbacks, we do a lot of one-off jobs for individual homeowners. We've started working now with kind of builders who are putting in repeat orders. We've done a load of student housing recently, where the contractor just kept ordering and they kept getting delivered for them, and as their program dictated. But yeah, at the moment for us it really is predominantly domestic, but we are starting to move more into like a commercial setting of like we were saying earlier, going into like commercial bathrooms to take the splashes from hand dryers and things like that. So
you showed me some of the marble prints downstairs, and I mean it's a really good cost-effective way if you're looking to have that look in your wet room or your bathroom or something like that. You don't really want to be paying out for the tiles, and I think on the same respect, it's like maintenance-wise, you can just clean it down. Really, really simple. From a builder's perspective, you don't have to worry about the grout lines discolouring or anything like that. It's just a straight.
It's just easy to keep clean as well, So like, we spoke about some of the slate ones we want to move our way into. And you imagine having loads of tiny little slate tiles. You've then got all the grout lines just going to hide bacteria, whereas you can get a beautiful printed slate image, just wipes clean. We're also kind of looking at whether we want to start doing antibacterial coated acrylic.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it is a thing, and it adds a bit of cost to it. Right. But it also adds a matte sheen to it, so it's not always going to work.
Okay.
But from like kind of a home health environment, I suppose having antibacterial coating on it,
I guess you'd use that for some like doctors and hospitals.
I think commercially it's used quite a lot, but I think there is a place in the home for it as well, if people are particularly worried about that.
And nurseries and stuff like that. That's true. My kids haven't had that yet. So I mean, I would expect that with the machinery you got, it's quite obvious that it's all about precision, right? And making sure that everything is perfect. Can you explain the kind of machinery that's involved in to do that?
So we kind of really have two methods of cutting. One is cutting using a laser, and the other is cutting using a router, which is a spinning tool. And they're both CNC, so they're computer controlled. So the accuracy is in the drawing, and they work down to tolerances of 0.2 of a mil, I think it is. So that's how we do our main cutting, and then how we do the splashbacks to apply the colour to the acrylic is we print the colour on there. So we start off with a sheet of clear acrylic, and then we put any colour you can imagine, on the back of it.
Yeah.
So then when you turn it around and you view through, you're looking at the high gloss acrylic to a really well saturated, a very bright colour in the background.
Yeah.
And it really pops and really looks nice. And as well as the solid colours, we also use the printer to put imagery onto there as well, and it can be any image you want. You know, it could be you and your family. It could be a beach scene. It could be it could be you know, marble stone effect. Leather we've seen being done. You know, a printed image of leather that looks really nice.
So, like, if someone wanted a picture of their kids, for instance, like, how much detail does it go in? Like, even with the eyes, depends on the pictures being taken.
Yeah, it depends on the quality of the picture you've taken. It depends on how big the splashback is as well. So, obviously, the higher the splashback, the higher the resolution of the image. So, we like to try and get 300 dpi for when you're printing. So, scaling that up. We have done some tests recently. And we did them with kind of like cityscape scenes, which are quite busy scenes.
Yeah.
And we could drop right down to like 150 dpi was where you started to see it.
Yeah.
And again, it depends how you're viewing it, up close or from a couple of metres away. So we can really print anything, but again, when we have images from clients, we try and offer advice on it that actually we think this is too low quality. And where we've had situations like that, we've printed it onto a white vinyl, which is a very cheap solution, and posted it to have a look at. So, because you know, you don't want to spend hundreds of pounds on your acrylic splashback and realise the image isn't right. So if we are worried about it, we do try and put that sanity check in there and say, listen, let's print it on some vinyl, pop it in a post, and see what you think about it.
I can imagine it's quite popular because you can just print a picture of your family.
Yeah.
And they're just perfect gifts.
Yeah. I mean, it sort of leads on to kind of wall art. So we've done some printing of where people got married on a beach, favourite holiday locations, things like that. Nice. We did that as a small splashback, but again, we've done it and we've mounted it with standoffs. We used a bit of thicker acrylic for it, and it becomes a piece of art in the home.
And does that ever degrade, like against the sunlight?
No, it doesn't. The acrylic is kind of UV protected, and you shouldn't get any degradation with the image.
You showed me all of the samples that you post out, and you can pretty much get any colour? Yeah, we can. We use CMYK to print, so we can, it's just a recipe, so we can mix any colour. We can match to like Rowells and Pantones and anything, you know, your favourite jumper. We can get very, very close. We basically generate custom prints. We generate you a custom sample and post it out to you. That's really cool.
Yeah, the sample service works well for us because the colours can look different on your computer screen or your iPhone or your tablet. So once you've decided whatever blue it is that you look in, you know, it's going to look right in the kitchen, really encourage people to have a sample posted to them. I mean, it costs, it's about like £1. So it just gives you that check just to make sure that the colour you're about to order is the colour you want.
And I guess that doesn't even change depending on the size, right? Because the colour just is the colour
constant throughout. Yeah, we use the same files. They're made into a library, and then we print from those files. From a homeowner's perspective, what are the common issues with plastic? Like, what can go wrong? I think the biggest issue is can be damaged in the post. We work very hard with our packaging to really kind of make it bulletproof. One of our customers described it as the Volvo of packaging. We work really hard with that, but you know, mistakes happen. They do get broken in the post. I think also, you know, when customers are ordering, if they're going for like a more budget orientated splashback, they might order in 3mm, and then by the time you put some socket cutouts in there, you have to handle it very carefully. That's why we really encourage people to go for like 5mm acrylic. So you know, you can damage it in installation, and then the usual things apply. Measure it right, you know, measure twice, cut once.
You mentioned downstairs about the kind of chemicals you would use to apply it to the wall. So which ones should you use, which ones shouldn't you use? We like to use CT1, which is just a really good multi-polymer adhesive. There's loads of them available. You can use silicone, neutral cure silicone. The only issue with using that is it doesn't really have an instant tack. So once you put the splashback on the wall, you may have to
prop it up to keep it there. So whereas a CT1 has an instant tack and will generally hold the weight of it. What you should avoid is any solvent-based adhesives, because we cover the back with a white vinyl to protect the print and take away some of the opacity. And the solvent adhesives will melt that. So
if there is a homeowner that wants to fit it themselves, with the CT1, how much play time do you have with that?
Do you know,
it's quite
off the top of my head, I don't know exactly, but you have enough time to get it on and kind of position it. You have a few minutes, I would say, on that.
And then you just finish it off with...
Yeah, let it cure up, and then cork it in with silicone, whether it be clear silicone or white silicone, or if you want to go to the expense of getting colour matched silicone. But I think clear and white cover most.
On your website, you've got a list of plastics that you use. So can you just go through them by order and explain what their difference is?
Predominantly, we use acrylic and polycarbonate, and for kind of domestic stuff, we get involved with engineering plastics, but that's another side to the business. So mostly we do acrylic, and really the difference between acrylic and polycarbonate is a sort of shatterproof. So if you hit acrylic with a hammer, it will shatter, whereas if you hit polycarbonate with a hammer, it will dent and you can bend it, but it won't shatter. So where we tend to see polycarbonate being used a lot is where there's risk of impact. So if you're replacing your greenhouse windows, if the kids have broken it with a football, polycarbonate would be good because it will take the impact. Acrylic will as well. I think acrylic is something like 200 times stronger than glass. But yeah, polycarbonate would be better there. The issue is polycarbonate scratches easier, so it's a bit of a softer material. So we like to use acrylic for kind of splashback and uses around the house. And
what size? Like, do they just come in all different sizes? Like, what size?
Yeah, I mean, we buy the sheets in 3 meters by 2 meters, and we cut them down. Anything we want. Some of our commercial customers, we've literally cut little 20mm pieces. But splashbacks, we can print right up to 3 meters by 2 meters if you ever wanted.
And thicknesses?
Thicknesses, at the moment in splashbacks, we're offering 3mm and 5mm as standard. But in theory, we can use any size up to about 30mm. You can buy 50mm acrylic and things like that, but it's more special order. We stock 2mm to 50mm.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, 2mm to 30mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the most complex project or order you've had?
From a splashback was probably that commercial order with all the teapots, just because it was so big. They were big sheets. They'd also ordered 3mm as well to kind of keep the price down, so it's flexible. So that was a huge order to then be printing, cutting, and then vinyling as well. And then finding safe places to store them once they're done before they got collected. But that went really well, and the feedback from the client was fantastic. So
does that fall under the most bizarre one you've done as well?
I think printing pink and blue teapots was kind of pretty unique. We've done some sort of personalised images of beaches and things, but nothing really bizarre so far anyway.
Well, never say never.
Yeah.
What's next in technology around the types of machinery that are being used now, and where is it going?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty much there with the kind of machinery we use for production. So our router is top of the range. We use print registration on it for real extreme accuracy when we need to do, if we're doing contour cutouts. And our printer, it was brand new 6 months ago. It uses some of the best print heads you can get. So for us, I think that's really where we're at it. We potentially looked at flow coating with UV, but that's a whole different ball game. And I think from a product point of view, we're starting to explore rear lit splashbacks. So you'd have kind of one view with it, the light turned off, and then at night, as you turn the lights on in the background, you can get different views there. Certainly, if you're looking at stone and things. So we're just sort of starting to explore that, and we're constantly adding new imagery to our website, and starting to bring out a marble range and a stone range, and We're integrating with a stock image provider at the moment to be able to give the customer a choice of millions of images that they might want to use.
What's your typical turnaround?
We quote 3 to 7 days, and we're always within that. But often people want it in a rush, so we can do same day. You know, if we pick the right day, we can generally jump stuff up the queue as and when we need to. But yeah, it's pretty quick turnaround.
I must say that you've got a lovely team. I've met a couple of them today as well, and like just to come down and actually see it in working is really, really good. I think it's been really nice to have you on. But where can people find you?
So we can find us online at cutmyplastic.co.uk. All our details are on there. You can look at all the coloured splashbacks and also other use of acrylic, and then pick up the phone if you've got a project that you're not sure about or you need advice. Give us a bell and we can talk you through it.
Brilliant, fantastic. James, it's been really nice to have you on.
Coming down.
No
Cheers.
problem.